So we're talking as well about our support networks. So should we start in a kind of like we're kind of moving into during now.
Yeah.
So during treatment, like we've got our kind of inner circle support network.
Yeah.
And should we put in there like your very close friends, family, and partners as such? So, is there a sense of like best ways for them to like communicate with you?
It's really hard because when you're going through treatment, I mean, everybody reacts to it differently.
Yeah.
So there are some people who will rely on others a lot. There are other people who just go, right, I'm going to deal with this day to day, one day at a time, we're just going to get through. And actually try to keep as much of the normal routine of their life as possible. So don't really want to have lots of people bringing them into the hospital, but actually just want to kind of go and manage it themselves, and that's fine too, So you are in control about how you manage this and who you have with you and how that helps. Often people get fed up of having to tell people again and again and again and again and again, So sometimes it can help if there are updates to just have one person who you just let them know, and they will then tell your broader friends. Just keep people in the know so that you're not constantly having to have a conversation every time you meet somebody about what's just happened or where you are with treatment. So it's like somebody else's. You said to yourself, can you just let everybody know rather than I don't have to tell everybody every time. And then with it's important to realise you don't have to talk about things all the time.
Right.
There may be days where you don't actually want to talk about it, but other people feel that they want to be there for you and want to be supportive and almost want you to talk about it because that's what they feel they should be doing. And so it's all right. You need to put your boundaries out there. So if you need to say, you just have a day where you don't want to talk about it, just say, look, actually, do you know what? Can we not talk about this today?
Yeah.
Talk about something else. Or I'm just, or if there are other days you might say, actually, I'm really struggling. Can we just chat about this for a minute? I really need someone just to talk to, just tell you how I'm feeling, and someone to listen and to hear.
And I guess that's part, like what we were talking about earlier, that kind of communicating with yourself that actually I'm in that day where I don't want to speak to anybody about cancer. Fed up with it today. Yeah. And then. And it's fine. Yes, and that's okay.
And you're going to find, again, as we said, it's all about expectations, isn't it? And we never really know how people are going to respond until they're in those situations. And there are going to be some people who will surprise you by how supportive and how good they are at listening.
Yes.
And there are going to be some people who, disappointed is wrong, but perhaps you would expect them to be maybe a bit more responsive than they are. And the thing is to realise that's not your fault. It's just everybody struggles with their own things, and there are some people who, based on their backgrounds, find it very difficult to hear difficult conversations or find it very difficult to be supportive in that moment. And that can be hard because it can feel like you're being, that you're being ignored or it's not you, it's them. I think is what I would say. So use the people that are supportive, that can hear, and use maybe the people who don't want to talk on days when you don't want to talk about it either. So you don't have to go and see them on those days. But I think it's important to kind of work out who are the best people.
Yes, I guess that
may not be very obvious.
Yeah, and I guess that also comes down to the fact of that is another person you're speaking to, and I know from. I would be definitely a case of like when I was in treatment, like you kind of like you're having this thing and it's happening and you think that like you have to remember that person might have also had like you might have been in treatment, but they might have got fired, they might have had a bad day, they might have had those things, and it's finding the balance as well, I guess, because it can I did this, like you can get quite like self-serving.
Well, it's kind of you get overwhelmed by all the stuff you're going through. Yeah. You sort of forget that other people have difficult elements in their life too, which for them are really in those moments are very important as well.
Yes.
But it's difficult because it can feel when you're going through treatment just that everything is happening to you.
Yes. Yeah. And so I've got a question from the Trekstock community. So thank you, Dan, for sending this in. You commented on the post. Thank you very much. That's very helpful. So Dan was trying to speak to me about how do you communicate to those friends who just aren't like who like on those days where they're like, oh, why would you want to come out or something like that, and you're just feeling tired or something like that, or you just want them to come over. You want them to know already. Like what?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the first thing is people are not mind readers.
Yeah.
Okay?
I guess so, yeah.
And I think
annoying.
we are all guilty of thinking sometimes that people should instinctively know how we're feeling. And actually, they don't. Some do, and that's great, but most don't. So often it's up to us to put out our boundary of how we're feeling. So I think the first thing is, if somebody asks you out and you're feeling tired, is this just lack of motivation, or are you actually just tired and really don't want to do this? You know, there's always been those times where you kind of think, well, actually, when I'm out there, I might be fine and I might really enjoy it. So sometimes don't shut those avenues off immediately. But it is worth, if you're feeling that way, saying, actually, do you know what, I really am quite tired. I'd love to come, I really want to come, but if I duck out, I hope you're all okay with that. If I find that it's too much, I'm just going to come home. I hope you're okay with that. And they'll go, oh yeah, no, that's fine. So you've managed an expectation. Or if you want them to come over, it is that thing of just saying, and I would again choose one friend who is the person who can then communicate that to everybody else. So that you don't have to be the person saying that again and again. So if there is somebody who just said, can you just tell the others, I might just leave. I don't want a big deal out of it, but you know. Or if you want them to come over and say, look, this is great, I'm actually really tired, how about you come to us? How you can come to me, we'll get some food or whatever, it would be really nice and really lovely to see you. Or if not now, can we do it on another day? Yeah. Okay, so you need to be able to push out how you're feeling. And the key is to use I words, I phrases. Okay. So I phrases are, when you're talking about how you're feeling, it is to phrase it in saying, I feel this way. Or what would be best for me is this. Right. Rather than saying, you haven't done this, or when you do this, it makes me feel like that. It's owning your own experience and saying, this is how I feel. And it's not saying to them, you should feel anything about it. It's just, this is it. This is just how it is. It's unchallengeable. This is how I feel. I'm feeling like this. So I'm going to leave. I hope that's okay. Rather than, whenever I go out with you, it's always really tiring, because people feel blamed and they can feel angry and they can feel let down if you're constantly, it feels like you're blaming them. Yes, yeah. And is that going back to kind of that thing of like, you've got the power over your actions, but I haven't got the power over, like, we can't control other people's responses. Yes, it's one of the only things we can do is manage how we respond, what our reactions are to things, and how we feel, and the way we express. And it's amazing, if you start to talk about how you feel in that way, you'll find other people start talking back to you about how they feel. Right, yes, yeah. Because often, again, when you go through cancer, quite a lot of relatives and people don't necessarily, they feel they can't really put their problems onto you, because, so it does all become about you, because they don't want to burden you with their stuff or their feelings. But actually, it generally feels a lot better if both of you are able to talk about how you feel. It's free and open, so that we stop protecting everybody. Yes. Because it's really hard to have secrets in relationships. It's the thing that is the hardest thing. And to feel like you can't say something is very difficult. To feel you have to always put on a brave face. To feel like you always have to be, positive. Yes, yeah. It's very hard. Okay, so we've got a couple of messages, thank you very much, from the Trekstock community. So I'm going to kick off. How do you tell a friend they have done something that was unhelpful? Tactfully. Yeah. I think it's difficult, because a friend, if somebody has done something unhelpful, they generally have done it out of the best interests. Yeah. So they may have inadvertently done something that actually wasn't terribly helpful. And I think the thing is to be gracious, to say, look, I think that I know that you meant this in a positive way. However, for me, it would be better if next time. Yeah. You have to let them know, because otherwise they'll just repeat it again. What happens if that's really, like, if it's made you angry? Like, what? Anger. Anybody going through any change in their life, and particularly cancer, you're going to feel angry at times. You are going to feel angry, and you're going to feel angry at people don't understand. You're going to feel angry. That's fine. The thing is with all anger is to try not to just shove it onto other people. That makes sense. Those Twitter rants. But it's to when you're feeling anger, to acknowledge your anger, let your anger out, go and shout at a tree or something, but work out what it is you're really angry about. What is it that has actually really annoyed you about it?
Yes.
Is it that they haven't listened to you? Is it that they just didn't know, or they've done something deliberately? I don't know, whatever it is. And what do you want them to do about it? Is the next thing. Well, what do I want them to do differently? Because just getting cross with people doesn't really help generally. It kind of makes just everybody feel very uncomfortable. But if you can say, look, I know you meant well, but actually, I felt like this. Next time, it would be better for me if you could do, or you could try doing this. Perhaps this would be a better way for me. Whatever.
Yes.
Or I wish you hadn't said that, or I found that difficult when you said that. In the future, if you want to say things like that, can you just not say things like that to me? I would find that much better, or I didn't find that terribly helpful.
Yeah, it seems to be about like the kind of the space rather than just being a reactive thing.
It's about time out. Taking time out and taking a check-in on yourself. Allow yourself to be angry. It's not about suppressing anger. If you're angry, be angry, but just let that emotion calm down and go, okay, what am I really angry about? Because sometimes it's not always obvious.
Yeah.
It may not be what they said, but it may be the fact that they didn't call you the night before, or it can be something that's actually been niggling you underneath. Or it may just be other stuff you're going through that actually they've just happened to be the poor person who's come and sort of touched a, they've trodden on the wrong thing at that moment, and it's been something that's been annoying you for a while. I can't think of an instance at the moment, but so it may actually be more with stuff you're going through and uncertainty that you're going through, that their comment just really didn't help.
Is there something as well about acknowledging that, like, that person as well might, like, there might be something else going on, like if it happens to you, so when you get somebody who comes over and is annoyed about what you've said and angry at what you've said, like, we know what that feels like. We know, like, oh, I didn't realise.
I'm really sorry, I didn't intend to cause any problems.
Yes, and that something might have been going on.
Something going on in your life, or and it's that it is things going with other people's lives. It's not always. People are not always deliberately. Usually, most people are not deliberately harmful to people, particularly their friends.
Yes. Okay. Right. People feel like they want to help. What are? Can't we do writing, Jemima?
Is it a good idea to give them roles?
Oh, okay.
I think it's a great idea. I think you need to work out. If people are wanting to help, fantastic.
Yep.
I think one of the most important things is to be able to accept help. Some people are not very good at that, to be perfectly honest. But we all, we are social beings. We do need other people, particularly when we're going through something that's difficult. Okay?
Yes.
So, if somebody wants to help, tell them how they can best help you.
Yeah.
Even if it's just being that, like I mentioned, that person who communicates with the rest of the group, or the person who, I don't know, picks up your dry cleaning, or just it can be silly things, but they all help, and just feel the support. So let people know how they can help you, and if they're doing things that aren't terribly helpful, tell them actually, oh, it's great, but can you do this instead? Great, thank you for doing it, but can you do B instead?
Does this include giving them tasks? I quite like this. Can I give them tasks like you need to go and pick up my washing, you need to go and do my shopping for me, and things? These aren't exactly what you're meaning, right? I'm taking advantage of people.
Is now an order.
Right. Okay.
And you never want to give people diktats, because
No.
people are free-thinking individuals and can decide not to do that.
Dictatorships are not working.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
and also, you say you need to do this. You can say, well, no, it would be great if you could.
Yes. Yeah. It'd be great.
That would be
if you,
really helpful if you could. That would really help me.
Wonderful, thank
And
you.
appeal to better nature rather than giving orders. I think when you give orders, people then start to resent them or get cross with them.
How field suggestions of ways to help you from well-meaning love.
Now,
Can
I
you
think I know
decipher
what that
that?
is.
Okay, great.
Sometimes you're going to have well-meaning loved ones who want to think for you.
Yes, okay, there we are. Right,
I
you've
think
worked
that's
it out.
what we're meaning
Okay,
about.
Good.
So there are people who are going to come up with a whole load of things that they think you want. actually what they're actually doing is projecting their own anxiety onto you.
Yes.
Based on not actually being you or not actually being in your shoes, if that makes sense. So they're probably thinking, well, if it was me, I'd want all these things. But they probably wouldn't actually. But people tend to, there are some people who are so well-meaning, they want to think, and parents are really good at this.
Okay.
Because parents spend the first 18 years of your life trying to look after you and trying to help you, and I think it can be a really difficult impact on parents if they have a child that has cancer, because they go through a whole thing of guilt and blame and a whole issue around, I should have been there to protect, I should have been there, that's what parents were supposed to do, but kids grow up and they become independent adults, and sometimes parents find that quite difficult. So they will often then want to think for the other person and almost take away their legs, So they become infants again, because it's the instinct that you have.
Yeah.
But it's to just say, thanks, but actually, it's a bit much. Can you, it's putting that boundary up. Thank you. I know you mean well, but actually I need to make these decisions for myself.
Yes.
Can you support me with that? That would be a really helpful thing to do.
And it's coming around again, I guess, to that thing of communicating yourself. I didn't think when we started talking and when we're talking about communication, that it seems like one of the most important things I'm going to take away is this need to communicate with myself more and acknowledge those things that are going on, so that I can communicate better with other people.
Yeah. So it is about being authentic in some ways and real to how you're feeling. And everybody's going to feel different, because everybody is a different person. And people's needs are going to vary. And so it is that thing of being able to talk out just how you feel. And it may not make any sense, but it makes sense to you. So that's fine. That's all we're worried about, is your own internal sense. You don't have to catch things. And then the other person has to then manage their reaction.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yes, definitely.